Hey, I don't usually make videos. I'm not one to make videos, but I felt compelled to make this one because I wanted to share with as many people as possible, as many people as I can, this book that I just got in the mail. Scandal of a Divine Messiah by Brian Crawford. I'm excited about this one, even though I've already read it. Brian sent me an advanced PDF copy so that I could review it before its official release, which I did. You can find my review on this book's page on Amazon and Logos and on Barnes & Noble. I put it everywhere. I got my copy in the mail, signed by the author. Yeah. I even put my little stamp on it, if you can see this. I don't know if you can see that very well. My little stamp. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to show off. I read this book slowly and carefully, and it took a while because it's a substantial book. I think it's 340 pages without the index and bibliography and all that. It's a substantial book, but I'm excited to go back through it again, not in PDF this time, so that I can mark it up, make all my notes, and really let the lessons sink in. And honestly, I'm going to be referring to this book for years to come. It's not just well written, it is a goldmine of historical, philosophical, and theological insight. Not only that, it's got a huge bibliography. The sheer amount of works cited in here is impressive. Brian has single-handedly filled out my Amazon wish list quite nicely. So what is it about? If you know anything about modern Judaism, you know that it is considered to be completely impossible, absurd, illogical, ridiculous that God could ever become a man. But that wasn't always the case. Abrahamic Judaism, the ancient Israelite Hebrew faith, expected the Messiah to be divine. And Second Temple Judaism, and even early post-90, post the destruction of the temple, and post-Yavne Judaism, didn't have at least as much of a problem with that as modern Judaism does. Why? Why did that shift happen? Brian not only shows that that is the case, but he also shows why the shift happened, which largely has to do with the influence of Greek philosophy on Kabbalistic interpretation of Tanakh, especially on one influential Jewish philosopher, Maimonides, and how he interpreted Tanakh from within an Aristotelian frame of reference. Interestingly, the same thing happened with Christianity through the early church fathers, culminating with Augustine. Instead of interpreting the Bible and the gospel through a Jewish worldview lens, it began to be interpreted through an Aristotelian lens. That's just another one of the parallels and similarities between Rabbinic Judaism and Roman Catholicism that I'm constantly harping on. But that's an aside. That's not the subject of Brian's book. Maybe one day it'll be the subject of a book of my own. Never know. He wraps up this book, though, with a solid and compelling case in defense of the incarnation of the Messiah. In fact, one of the endorsements on the back here is Dr. Michael Brown. He said, Brian Crawford represents the best in the next generation of Messianic apologists, now providing a much-needed watershed book addressing the philosophical Jewish objections to the deity of the Messiah. Brian offers an in-depth scholarly analysis, providing practical and reasoned arguments to buttress the faith of believers and to enable them to present the biblical logic of a divine Messiah, even offering a robust philosophical defense of the incarnation. Yes, can't say it better myself. If you are interested at all in Jewish theology or philosophy, if you're a Jew who is engaged in dialogue with Christians, or just interested in knowing what the best arguments are in favor of the Christian position, this is the book for you. And these are some of the most fundamental arguments that you need to wrestle with. If you're a Christian who is engaged in dialogue with Jews, this book will help you to engage thoughtfully, getting at the core of where the differences really lie and why. This is the conversation that's been missing in Jewish-Christian dialogue. Not only does Brian get the conversation going, he makes a compelling case for why the incarnation of the Son of God, the Messiah, need not be a scandal within Judaism, just as it once was not a scandal. Another wonderful thing about this book is that Brian purposefully does not appeal to the New Testament to make his case. Rather, he presents the case for the divinity of Jesus the Messiah wholly from within a Jewish frame of reference. In fact, he says that this book is written with the Jewish reader primarily in mind, not Christians. Though Christians who engage in conversation with modern Judaism will obviously greatly benefit from both what Brian teaches and from his example in the way that he teaches it. His respect for Jewish tradition, the Jewish sages, and his love for Am Yisrael really comes through in his writing. And if you know what to look for, it even comes through in the manner in which he structures his argumentation. It's really masterful. This guy knows what he's doing. That it's evident not just in what he says, but in how he says it. In this book, Brian demonstrates how understanding the philosophical frameworks undergirding Maimonides and Kabbalah is essential for grasping how modern Judaism arrived at its current theological conclusions, which are contrary to certain beliefs held by Judaism from Moses to Moses, that is, from Moshe Rabbeinu to Moses ben Maimon, or Maimonides. Beliefs that are relevant to the question of a divine Messiah and the separation and divergence of Judaism and Christianity. In my opinion, with this book, Brian is carving out a place for himself among forerunning scholars like Daniel Juster, David Stern, Michael Brown, and the scandal of a divine Messiah is going to have lasting positive impact in the global Jewish Christian conversation. I'm going to put links to Brian's website and things so that you can look him up and get the book. And also he's going to be doing a speaking tour. He and I have been friends on social media for a few years now, but I've never actually met him in person. So hopefully pretty soon here I'm going to be able to finally meet him in person. He's going to be coming down to southern Michigan, at least Toledo, Ohio, I know. So hopefully I'm going to be able to see him there. He's going to be speaking at churches doing a Passover presentation during the Passover season. So I'll put links to the website so you can look up his itinerary and links to the book and everything. But The Scandal of a Divine Messiah, get this book.